you are qualifying me. I'm not qualifying you. I am your prospective buyer, right? So, well, that's my crazy take. And
I was waiting for you to do Yoda. I had pen you buy you will.
No, I
And the first thing he did was, Cavi, please don't bang the table. 36 minutes of banging the table. we did tell you this.
Guys, good evening, welcome, or good afternoon, you never know. Episode 10 of the Informatives podcast, and I think you're going to find this very funny.
Very funny, in the secret bunker.
So before we come to our guest this evening, and if you think we're hyperactive, wait and see this. Of course, I'm going to hand over to Danny to do the usual business of the podcast.
Again, welcome back to Informatives podcast. Today's going to be interesting. With a quick little intro, me chego en día, se so puta madre, a ver, me scorchio. Little tippies from Spain. Welcome back. Thanks again for your comments. Ring that bell, subscribe. We had a lot of positives coming in from our last episode, where we had Bob. We had a comment from Dave Lambert who said, more women the merrier, Scorchio.
Exactly.
So
that's an inclusion, Daniel, I believe.
Inclusion, that's the one, yeah.
Indeed.
So again, if you are looking for anything in the world of IT, if it interests you, you're looking for a position, your friend, your family, your granddad, then just click on the link below, xtelligence.com. They power this podcast. And off we go to Kenneth. So I think we're going to do our introduction.
I think we should, because he's sitting to our left and right. If you think Danny and I are hyperactive, then I think you're in for a surprise this evening, this afternoon, whatever we are. So I think Javier is in the house.
Welcome, brother.
And well, exactly. We always like to bring you very influential people. Now, this evening, or indeed this afternoon, shut up, Kenny, we decided we'd diverge a little bit from the classic history of cybersecurity and we'll just look at how information is managed, marketed, they would say sold. We've talked about selling before, but this is a positive way. And so, Javier, if you care to introduce yourself.
Merging minds, I believe, is the key.
Absolutely.
Merging minds.
Okay, so first of all, I have to thank you guys for inviting me here.
Of course.
Thank you.
You two have been some of my closest friends in the city. I mean, for those listening to us, you know that we're recording from Prague today. I don't know, your audience knows, right?
Yeah,
I've been personally living here for 9 years. I've known you guys for a long time. And you guys know that this is my last week in the city.
Yeah.
Ring that bell. It's the last time you're going to see Cavi.
Yeah. Well, I'll be conference them in from now on, but yeah, go on.
I was thinking that I wanted to look, first of all, thank you guys for the friendship you've given me. Will never disappear.
You've been a star.
Of course.
Like, you guys been super influential.
We don't go away very easily.
No, you don't. No. I remember good conversations that I had with you.
He remembers.
He remembers you and I are screwed.
So today I'm super thankful for this invitation. I want to chat about a couple of things about what I'm doing for living.
Tell us what you do. Come on, Javier, what do you do?
Wait.
Scorchio de guapo.
And then I want to tell you that to me this is a celebration of our friendship, and I thank you so much.
Of course, that's lovely to hear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
He thinks we know him.
You don't know
So,
that.
Javier, what have you been up to over the past couple of years? We haven't seen you.
For those friends that are listening and following us, my name is Javier Diaz. I'm from Spain. Of course, with this accent, where am I going to be from? I am
Bristol.
By formation, I am a lawyer. I have a master's in international business. I've been living out of Spain for 15 years and developing a career in sales directory, sales managing, marketing, etc., right? For the last, I work in a very particular industry for the last 9 years, which is the globalization industry, globalization industry. You can call me both like this. This is probably one of the best moments of my career. I've been this is the magazine over
You got his face.
Yeah,
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. That's not the kind of press that you and I get, but this guy.
And he's multilingual.
I'm multilingual. I'm thankful and grateful to be nominated one of the 34 most influential figures in my industry.
Oh wow!
And it's been crazy because you talk to experts in my industry, and they're like super technical people, Silicon Valley engineers, and I have no fucking idea what was.
You're not the only one. Episode 10, is it?
Oh, we spoke a lot of
I don't know how I got here, man. I don't know how I got here. Anyway,
Well, I think there's a celebrity episode 10. This is just going to be what we want to talk about.
This is a great way to do our first foray into double figures. And so, Javier, aside from
for
being
the audience out there, the magazine Multilingual, tell us a bit about it and how did you get in it?
So Multilingual is the publication in our industry. It's a monthly publication. They basically write articles about what's going on, about how the industry is developing. They write about people in our industry.
And we should add, when we talk about the multilingual industry, I mean, we all have lived internationally for a bunch of years. The multilingual, I imagine this is making stuff available in different languages, and I imagine there's some technology no doubt involved in that and that sort of stuff. Is this kind of trending the right way?
Very correct, very correct. That thing you say is very correct. Like we are a very niche industry, and we like to say we only notice when things go wrong. Right?
Don't we all?
Yeah, I was about to say that's our life. Yeah, okay.
That's
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
I'll raise a ticket.
So the thing is, like, translations are always there.
Right.
They're always there. Like adaptation of products to different markets.
Yep.
Have always been there, and you only notice at work, as I said, when something goes.
I imagine this is Google Translate.
Yeah, Microsoft Office. There's it's all mitcomploden.
Like those in our industry looking at this, do not believe these guys. It's not Google Translate. Someone even say this, right?
That's my interpretation, of course. I'm sure it's more elaborate. Yeah.
So influencer, multilingual.
So I entered in the industry 10 years ago, and 9 years ago, and this is when I moved to Prague and I first met you guys.
Yeah,
right.
I
had
10 years already.
Nine,
Wow.
nine
9 years.
Wow.
Feels like 44.
41 here. And I started in an entry level sales role for a startup, like technology startup. Let me quickly give you a briefing of what we do in this translation processes. There is technology you use to manage the whole process, basically, right? Platforms that you use to extract content, do the work, and send it back to the client. That's basically what we do, right? And I worked for what was then, and I was the 15th hire for what was then a startup, small Prague-based company.
Yeah.
And then
it scaled up, I guess. Yeah.
I said, like, fuck this. I'm going to the States. I went with my backpack. I went there for 3 months. I knew nobody. I started like selling there where everybody was. It worked out well. I did I did some good clients. I worked with people like Uber, Zendesk, Harley Davidson, WhatsApp. Use the technology.
I know you've always been enthusiastic about this startup that you're
definitely
always
evident,
well, you're always enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And if Ralph Lauren you're looking, we love it. So any discount, just drop it into the box below. There's some football on
And
tonight.
of course, a Barca fan too, sponsored by Ralph Lauren. Is that what you're telling us? Yeah.
No.
But you're always enthusiastic. Yeah. I mean, hence why you got into this magazine. So tell how have you got to this level and how have you influenced people?
I hate influencers.
Okay,
start.
this show has ended. It's been very quick. Thanks to Intelligence and see you next week. Bing bong.
I hate influencers, and I tell you why.
Tell us why.
No. But before I tell you why, what do you guys understand as an influencer? What's an influencer?
Instagram and boobs.
Yeah, and TikTok.
Yeah. Or TikTok on Instagram is the case.
People who provide content to the youth of today, whether it's skateboards
they build up, and I think it's on. Yes, they build up an audience and following, and I've probably got a view the wrong way, emails. And we talked about being equal and all that kind of stuff, but it tends to be the audience I see. People who build up a following and then they sell that following, to certain brands who then use that following to promote their brands.
Correct.
Okay.
And those are, if lucky, few people, right? But can you imagine the big industry and the big niche of micro influencers that every industry or every, I don't know, particularly cow sales industry.
Cow sales. If you're in Texas, you definitely want to keep watching.
Can you imagine
I guess
that?
there needs to be a cow sale farmer.
Yes.
You need cows, we need milk, you need meat.
Yeah.
You need
Well,
soya, so agricultural.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of people that, just get to roles like this, right? People that build an audience, build community.
Okay.
Community building.
And maybe that's the difference. Or is this the difference? Is this where you're going? Forgive me if I'm jumping the gun.
No.
Okay.
That's where
I get in trouble.
That's where we're going. Like being somebody that gets recognized for some certain thing you do, for some certain way of transmitting. That's why I hate the word influencer, because when you go to influencers, the first thing you think is, of course, the
YouTuber.
Girl on the beach
all that kind of
bikini.
Not that I look.
Bob.
And if you haven't met, I was going to say, if you haven't met Bob, we'll put a link outlet. Yeah.
Episode 9.
But the thing is that there's a big industry behind that, and then there's like a lot of things involved in that process of becoming a micro influencer, which I believe everyone, in order to become a big influencer, which I hate that word, can be, right?
I see.
I believe in one thing, and I was talking about this with my friends. I was in the States last week, and I work from Prague there, not anymore from Prague, but from Prague there, and we were talking about a definition of what an influencer should be, and it's a connector. A connector of people, a connector of the brand with the people, and a channel between those two for a proper business
transaction,
right?
Okay.
That's what I believe an influencer should be. That's what I believe.
So more of a connector as opposed to...
More of a kind of business, they would say, relationship, transaction, sales, marketing, that sort of stuff.
Yes. What's the problem when you, and I've read about it a lot of times when I was, strategizing a little bit about what you do.
In business class, going, yes, please.
Bro, tourist premium tops. That's what I get
Tourist
to.
premium.
And I bought it.
If you're watching, boss, you need to get him upgraded.
A lot of Ralph Lauren, but it's freaking economy plus, right? So
Better than baggage class. In fact, you'll be lucky if I'm in the hole. Sorry, Javier, carry on.
No. So the thing goes like this. Like that's what you should aim at, right? Like you know. I lost what I was saying, but I was talking about that wrong idea, that wrong image.
The wrong image of what
That you have,
influencer
right?
Well,
marketing
yeah,
is.
you've had two people, two different answers, but the same as exactly what you're trying to
They're like
describe.
the polar
And it's
opposite
like
of what
polar
it is,
opposite,
yeah.
would you like to be influenced by somebody? Would you like to
Yeah.
be influenced? Why? No, what the fuck would you like to? No, like I believe in super connectors. I believe the term of influencer should be a super connector, somebody that connects people, somebody that connects the brand with the people.
Okay.
But
That's my
from
definition.
is it passive? Is this a kind of, dare we say, subliminal? You know, you see some stuff. You are passively influenced or positively.
Oh, give us an
influenced.
example.
Yeah,
Give us an
maybe a
example.
good
I
example.
like it. So I work with brands, with 3 brands in my industry.
Yeah.
Who were 2 software companies, which is the one that I work for, which is, by the way, my current job is the best job you could ever think of.
Sounds like it.
He's sat in a room with us.
I love
Absolutely.
my life. I love my job
Yeah.
for real, big time. So, and then what I did, like the first time, let's say it was more like sales transactional kind of stuff. But the 2 times that I built, that I did what they call influential marketing, it was more to build community around the brand that I was marketing, right? In a very particular way, because I am a sales director, I'm the head of sales,
Yeah.
but I don't sell. I do not sell.
Interesting.
I do not sell. I do not sell. I do not sell nothing. I just
Not in the traditional way where you're more
Correct.
direct.
Yeah, ding dong.
Yeah,
Would you like a whale?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
thanks.
Yeah, well, exactly. All
Yeah.
that, you know. So there's no, I'm guessing, cold calling and knocking on doors, but there
we'll
is.
talk about cold calling. We'll talk
But
about knocking on doors. If you want.
yeah. So give us your interpretation of what I'm old school a little bit, old mainly.
Do you believe in emailing or social media?
Emailing or social media?
What do you choose?
It would be emailing.
I choose both.
Okay.
I choose both.
I mean, I don't do
You know
social
what I
media, to
believe
be
in?
honest.
Yeah.
In community creation and good content that people follow, like this podcast that you guys are doing here. By the way, I forgot to say did I say it? I have a podcast that is called Merging Minds, powered by Bureau Wars, the company I work for.
We'll get you a link for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Go follow me, because in this podcast, what I do is I interview localization industry leaders, figures from both from the vendor and from the client side,
Yeah.
who come and share experiences about leadership. That's it. That's a commercial.
Cut that last 10 seconds.
Carl, I'm getting an invoice out. And so,
we
yeah.
were saying, yeah. So we were saying about we were talking about
So the classic sales
the
versus
classic sales
yeah.
versus the email. Both work.
Yeah.
Both work. You cannot just like say no to one. You have
Right.
to work on both.
Okay.
I am
see.
saying no to emailing, but I'm coming back on that, right? So,
Okay.
but both you have to do both. Both work. You never know where the lead comes, but it works with a bigger goal, which is having a nice community that
Yeah.
follows you.
And kind of having advocates for your brand or your product, right? So if
Yes,
that
indeed.
community-spirited way of doing things, I get the impression is rather than being sold
indeed.
to, you're being involved in.
Well, it's a two-pronged approach, and you get involved in like-minded individuals
Yeah.
who are interested in the brand.
Yes,
As
indeed.
opposed to an email, a spam, no thank you.
Which is kind of a one-sided game.
If I saw you guys following something that interested me,
Yeah.
Ralph, I'd be more likely to join that group and listen to more about the brand than if you
Yes.
sent me an email, I'd just go, bin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But when you follow me, if you send me an email, you probably reply or you say something most.
If it was you, yeah. But-
Correct, because you know me, because I
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
a brand,
Yeah,
a personal brand connected to the company,
business that you do,
to
yeah,
the-
yeah.
that is channeled through emails and through social media, right?
Uh-huh. See, I kind of disengage with social media because of the negative, because I just got sick of seeing all that, what I consider to be nonsense. Not the kind of bigger brands. You're beginning to sway me around to a fresh line of thinking, and that you see these small people who just want to build an audience to sell socks. You know, if that's what they want their life to pay for.
Oh, which
yeah.
your face cloths and go, don't they go? If you click on socks on, so you got socks there, socks
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
Insta
yeah,
paste,
yeah.
socks on your ex,
Yeah,
and I don't mean your ex.
yeah.
But never forget that people buy from people, right?
No, very
like,
true.
It's like there's very few brands out there that you follow because of the brand. You follow
Yes.
because of think of Nike. You follow because of Jordan, because of the big stars, right?
Yeah.
It's that's what they
And,
sell,
and,
right?
and the most recent one that I learned was that Red Bull don't advertise Red Bull.
No.
They advertise the lifestyle associated. More sports, no sports, that sort of stuff, right? Right. So that has a positive effect on me because
And it gives you wings, which could also be misinterpreted as a panty liner for ladies.
you didn't get the messaging right.
Hashtag inclusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
So
it keeps coming round now,
and then that audience.
Bob.
You mentioned it. You mentioned the word following, and I want to mention as well the word community. And I wrote down here because this is my only note I took. And I'm going to ask you guys, what do you guys think when you define a community? When you define a following? Give me three things, and then look at the notes that I gave you before.
Of course, I read the notes, Javier.
I can't see that.
What is? If you're a member of a community,
So you have a communal line of thinking.
identity.
Okay. Right.
Identity in English.
Okay.
Sorry.
Identity. Okay. So you have an identity. Are you asking me for the three?
Connecting, being connected.
He's going to give me the
because,
three.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there's connections. We've been members of the doubles community. We've been members of this community.
Yeah.
We supported each other. We heard each other's stories, and at the end, holy shit! If you were gonna buy something, you buy it from me, and you too, right? And because we were identified, right? And then growth. This is the first thing I told you guys when I came here. Like, I'm thankful for your friendship because I've grown to the man that I am because I'm here. Those are the three things defining the community.
Yeah.
I think.
No.
As we scroll down.
I believe because you form a similar line of thinking. You're willing to be influenced by those in the community. Somebody's got a strong opinion, you don't. You're willing to hear it. Whereas cold calling, the traditional way of doing things, there's no obvious community, so invariably you think negatively.
Yeah.
And it's got to be mentioned. So you mentioned a number of tools. The biggest thing today is artificial intelligence, AI. How has that helped the tool set that you use?
Wow.
I mean, I know it's the scope of it's absolutely massive.
That's absolutely massive. Yeah. Like it's a tool. It's a tool. Like when Excel came out, when Word came out, when whatever platform came out.
Yeah, then VLOOKUP came out.
Like people are fucking scared of AI.
Yeah.
And it's not to be scared. It's like the next Excel.
Right. It's a little bit like Excel on
like,
steroids, though. I mean,
it is. And imagine in the industry that I work in, which is the localization and translation industry, where ChatGPT gives you perfect answers in
any
so many languages.
So is that a threat?
So imagine if somebody should be scared are the translators.
I see.
But we cannot say this. We should advocate for this to be a tool to get more work done.
Yeah.
So as an influencer, like this allows you to write way more content. This allows you to create more videos.
I see.
This allows you to give photos in an amazing way.
What's the new Microsoft tool? Is it Copilot?
365 Copilot.
But put simply, the meetings we do, nowhere near as interesting as yours. Mine are like, oops, that's disconnected. Humpton Farvey comes round and gives you a slap in the
It
face.
sounds edited as well because that's a pro.
It literally saves me 15 minutes.
Per meeting almost.
Every hour.
Yeah.
I
mean, Copilot,
like one of the cool things that people are doing now, you probably know, it's like when you are in a meeting, you just hop on this, like put on this app on, and it transcribes what you spoke.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And then you pass this to ChatGPT, which I do. It's like, okay, this is a transcription of a 2-hour meeting, of an hour meeting. Give me a briefing.
And you don't need.
In 3 seconds. Is that a tool to
embrace that?
Yeah, I definitely embrace it. It's not even 3 seconds. So as soon as you shut the meeting,
another good tip for you guys watching out there. Like, for example, if you have a show like this one and you want to get the best points of this, you transcribe, download on YouTube Studio the transcription of the show. You pass it on GPT. You copy paste on GPT and say like, hey,
summarize
this. Give me the best 5 points.
When it tells me that it's unplugged the kettle and left my wife alone, then it's in trouble.
Interesting. So if you want the 15-second summary, no, you need to listen to all 30 minutes. Then you can actually try. That interesting. I guess that makes sense. If you were so inclined, we'd obviously want you to watch.
So it's obviously
watch it all.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously key. You say working in the globalization industry, it's got to be huge.
Yeah.
Key for your tool set. Globalization just sounds massive because clearly it is.
Well, I mean,
it's not such a big industry if you compare.
But it sells to.
It sells such an like you don't think so, but you don't think about it because our job is so well done. Like you just open your Uber or whatever,
and it just happens. And when
so you language. So I open my Uber, and it's not only translated, it's adapted because my Spanish is not the same Spanish as they talk in Mexico, and the things they say in Mexico is different. So, or your English is not the same.
Well, it's Scottish.
Scottish
we don't have Scottish.
To a party, heavy wee shy.
We don't.
Taxi, please, Bob.
And I will walk 500.
It was a matter of time. It took us 10 episodes before some bastard sang that song.
Actually, well, you've done it. You got it.
Well, that was one.
You got it. We've swapped Gump for the Proclaimers.
5. We don't have Scottish Uber, but that would be hilarious. We're 2. Right, and you get
jokes aside, like
Lost,
imagine,
lost, lost.
imagine you have to think of the dimension of these things, right? When you're selling abroad,
yeah.
like you
It can make or break, right? The adoption.
It is like a German does not buy the same way a Spanish person does.
No, sure.
Yeah. Well, we know
Mexican
Germans
doesn't
buy
the
from
way-
Germans, and into certain
Yeah, a German doesn't buy the same way as a Japanese, so you have to think of. So that's where our industry comes there, right? With all the tooling, with all the stuff, and that's where we.
So
it's very competitive, and there's a lot of.
Is there a lot of people in the space? A lot of companies, a lot of brands.
It is. It is like I read what 50,000 companies that goes from one man with a name, with an LLC, whatever, doing translations and having a small software that works from me and has a couple of clients and has a revenue of $500,000 to the biggest company in our industry that is 1 billion. Which has offerings of all kinds of CMSs.
Business class.
Yeah.
Business class.
Exactly.
We've heard your profits.
The offering they have is crazy. They have from translation technology to CMSs to
right.
And then they work with. Can you imagine a contract with an airline, or with a pharmaceutical company, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get very used to pressing the button and flipping between languages.
And all of these things, correct? And you realize if you're reading the instructions, you don't even notice.
No,
that's where
you don't. You take it for granted these days, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
So you were saying prior to us coming in here, Javi, one of your passions is social selling.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds great. It's like, hi, I'm social selling. So tell us more for that. I mean, we spent most of our time talking about cybersecurity and digging yourself out of holes when your servers go down.
Yeah.
So this
sounds like a lot more fun. Yeah.
I wrote some notes about what there is. I cannot recite. No, I'm kidding. Like social selling, a technique, an art. I want to call it an art. It's a way of life, which is based on the good use of technology, especially social media.
Yeah.
To get to the biggest amount of people possible.
I see.
With the least amount.
I was going to least amount of effort.
Least amount of effort. No, and with the one clear goal, and is to create proper relationships. Like one thing that pisses me off a lot. Like when you are demoing your product to clients, 95% of the clients are not ready to buy at the time.
Of course,
social selling methodology is
what shortens the time after, perhaps. Yeah?
Correct, and it's the best way to keep your clients engaged.
It's like the old school follow up.
Yeah.
Instead of writing 17 emails, and there was a meme that went around many years ago, and it said, nobody buys the first time, 3 people buy the second time. It takes the 12th time to follow up before the vast majority.
So with talking social selling, you're talking about managing a relationship with a community with a view to them being potential clients.
Yeah.
By not manipulating.
No. I've seen
sales
on this thing that I know there's a couple of manipulators here and I know them, but it's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool. But
if this is you, we've found you.
That's my buddy, man. What the fuck are you doing?
Manipulator.
Somebody's getting a DM later.
I have him here. No, fucking idiot.
No, we're no naming and shaming on this.
I mean, describe the scenario. Describe the scenario. You social selling. Kenny, you just stipulated the idea around it. You're not ready to buy in the first hit, the second, and the third. How would you manage those relationships?
You were asking me as well before about how to measure ROI on this stuff. It's very complicated. It's all a long-term run. It's a long-term thing.
Yeah,
like good corporate deals. that they take
a lot of time.
So it's a matter of that. I believe personally, anyone can do whatever methodology is good for them, but I believe through the way I am and through how I am as a person and as a salesperson, that a social selling methodology is very adequate.
Does it shorten? I mean, business game.
It doesn't.
It doesn't necessarily shorten it.
It helps. You know what? It cuts. It cuts, or it helps us a lot. Yeah. With the openings, like when you're a business owner, one of the biggest projects I have a product that is the shit.
Right.
Yeah. Who the fuck am I gonna sell this to?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you want leads and you want openings.
It's maintaining interest, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes. That's the second part. No. That's the second part. But I'm talking about the first part, which is like the lead opening, the
lead gen, the
lead gen. This is like a social selling methodology. If you do it from the bottom of the heart and without people, cheating people and stuff like that, is the best.
Social selling. So it doesn't shorten the business lead times. Perhaps gets more people engaged at the start. Yes. Therefore, there's more people in your pipeline. And arguably, more conversion happens over time.
Yes,
I've been in retail where you've got an instant sales pipeline because people buy on demand, right?
Yes.
Whereas, and I've been in multi-year where you got to nurture.
Yeah, we got reactive and proactive.
You nurture people through the sales pipeline, which can be brutal and thankless.
I've just found those three. There you go. Identity, connect.
Who's
and
Kenny?
grow.
If you scroll far
It
enough.
says Kenny here.
I just had to
Who's
do that.
Kenny?
You know,
And
interesting.
Yeah. It's. I believe, but once again, it's like it's whatever works, and to get.
I'm a big fan of the WW approach, which is whatever works, right? But
Yeah.
there should, that what I'm hearing now is that social selling, which is a phrase which is new on me, is actually beginning to sound a lot better way of doing things because nobody likes being sold to. Whereas
Nobody likes being sold to.
but so they said with social media and all the channels.
So there must be a loyalty aspect in there within the community.
Yes,
you build it
yes
over
and no.
time.
It's like it's a matter of creating opportunities, right? But let's get
Right.
it to the next level and wait.
Go for it.
more
Level
complicated.
3.
Let's get the fucking more
Yeah.
complicated.
Tres.
Imagine
level.
you have said like I want to go for a social selling methodology. How do you get started? What is the best way, right? I believe there's nothing sells more and nothing keeps people more interested in what you do or engage, as people call it now. These Gen Z kind of fucking things. Than storytelling.
Interesting.
Storytelling marketing.
I
Storytelling.
can tell
is
a
like-
few, but it's not for here.
and then I've given a few webinars and stuff like that about this, and the people were coming to me like, yeah, but I'm a fucking boring person at home. I have nothing to tell.
Next.
To build, no.
Ching, boom.
What's that? So when the thingy show with the bullet? Exactly.
This is like the Wall of Wall Street. Sell me this pen. No, there's a
Yeah,
solution for this, right? There's a,
Have you ever been asked to do that? It's annoying. It's like,
Yes,
I
I
have
can,
been
but I refuse.
Yeah.
No,
sell me
it's-
that pen.
but- okay. To
It's
your
mad.
audience, we're going to sort out today. We're going to give you the solution to that question.
Okay. I mean,
Buy a typewriter.
Sell me this pen.
this pen. It's first. It's a phone. I imagine, Javier, when you need a pen, it's quite okay. So,
Sell me this pen.
No, I'm off. I don't need one.
So the sell me this pen is a technique that it was like it's a sales technique that just allows you to identify if there's interest.
yeah. Okay.
Basically, like when you're speaking, like I mean, a good salesperson will not force you a product, of course, but will know that you are not a fit for me. I gotta go to the next person.
okay.
And that's the thing. So guys, we sorted.
So you,
But he didn't sell a pen.
Sell me this pen. Well, if you got me to sell this pen, you don't want the pen. I'm not selling you the pen.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's not.
So-
It's not blanc blanc.
I like.
And we were talking about storytelling. And like what is the coolest thing about I read a super good book not long ago. It was given me by my mentor Renato, who I hope is watching this thing. I love him to death, my second dad. And he was explaining me like how you get engaged because it's all connected. I think all of these things are connected. The use of social media in a good way, the storytelling, the social selling. It's all a thing that comes together.
Big hodgepodge. There's a good phrase.
Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge,
Lost
but
hodgepodge off.
hodgepodge. I'm not a native speaker, but I think of a hodgepodge like a fucking mess. And this is
No, I mean that positively. I don't mean a mess, but yeah,
Okay.
I mean
A
maybe
hodgepodge is something that's put together from a mess.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Yeah. So, but boom. Okay, you got it.
You still haven't got my pen.
And I hope you're still following.
So the social selling method. I mean, sorry, the storytelling is like something that also a lot of salespeople really lack in having a real good story to tell, right?
Okay.
And it's also related to your brand. For example, I'm going to tell you my story. My story is like I am a Spanish guy that left home again years ago. I am a representative of the millennial generation who is struggling, who has lived through the crisis of 2008. We struggled 5 years until we got there. Now I'm like, it's the moment of us, of our generation, of I'm 41, of getting in the power positions here.
Yeah.
And from there, I see leadership in this way. I see this thing in this way. I see in this, and I'm telling my story. I use social media for that, for example, right? Like there's a super good example in this, right? Like when you're watching Star Wars, like there's
Boba Fett's the best.
yeah. and here's the thing. Like here's the thing that a lot of salespeople do wrong in storytelling. Like they are the protagonist of the movie. They're the one to be the Luke Skywalker, where they shouldn't be the Luke Skywalker. They should be the Yoda. Luke Skywalker is your client, right? You have to get there, but you have to get to your goals by helping your client, right?
I see.
So there's no better storytelling than, hey, you're lost. You're my prospect.
Yeah.
I hate to call people prospects. You are qualifying me. I'm not qualifying you. I am your prospective buyer, right? Yeah. So, well, that's my crazy take. And
I was waiting for you to do Yoda. I had pen you buy you will.
No, I didn't say Yoda, call my lawyer. But it's this thing. It's like people try to put themselves in for, like they try to be the hero of the story, right?
Okay.
And it's
true,
not. It's
true.
not. You're just the Yoda. You're just the guy that is helping them to defeat the
I see.
the empire,
That's-
right?
yeah, that's the
and
one.
that's how a salespeople. And that's a good method. And this
Kind
is
of, kind of a classic approach to the social selling, storytelling that you might want to do.
Yes.
Now, people always think they're front and center, and they're not always front and center.
No.
They should pick the appropriate and tell the story from that perspective.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I believe so. And I believe so, for example, when you write a sales email, for example, like you're talking a lot about me, my product, my fucking thing. Instead of asking questions like, how are you feeling? What is your challenge? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah.
And if you read emails and stuff like this, which I said before, that is a tool that you need for social selling, for being a fucking influencer. I hate this thing.
Manipulator.
This is gonna be online as well. Like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
It goes on LinkedIn.
Don't out the park.
So when you do these things, it's like I don't know, like it's a big and this goes in every channel you use to spread your content, right?
So you specialize in that. Do you then you build your audience, you build your community, you're passionate about bringing a client on board. You're successful in doing so.
No. This is the beginning.
I
I am successful, but this is the beginning, guys.
Yeah.
It's never ending. I'm not successful enough.
Yeah, so
This is the beginning, guys.
But once you've brought the
But once you've got a client,
Okay.
do you then maintain that level of,
with the same content, is that where
Yeah.
you're going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
There's different.
or do you
stages
just
in
go right, done, ciao,
Yeah.
more social?
No,
Yeah.
there are different stages in the funnel, right? Like,
of course.
So
There's retention after that, right?
Yeah,
That's the-
for
yeah,
example,
yeah,
we implemented a methodology in which I just focused on being out there with people and really
Yeah.
building the community. And when the client is ready to sell, they go on demo stage and then they take
Okay.
care of that. And then there's other.
So you could do
Triggers
the
that
new and
like-
onboarding stuff, and then
I'm not doing
fluffer.
this. Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
So is there another Javi in the world?
Oh,
That does the-
I,
that
I
does the
hope.
customer
I hope.
retention?
I hope there's nobody like.
There's three of us and nobody wants a prototype.
No, I was gonna say.
no.
We're
Everyone
enough.
is-
No, we are
We're
enough.
all in the same
No,
room, thank God.
and I said it before, like everyone has a freaking story to tell, whether you are a bored
I
person
believe that.
being at home
Yeah.
at 10 maybe not, but at 20, at 30, at 40, at 60 or 70.
Loads of stories to
That's influencers marketing, that's social selling, that's like you have to tell your story.
I can kind of see. I mean, some of the big ranks for sure they make it more obvious. And if you are what we all hate is the more influencer because you're selling pants or whatever you want to do, they are, or some of them do tell stories. Some of them just frolic around on boats.
I mean,
looking
clearly,
for-
it's not for everybody.
No, of
is it?
course.
I mean, you're outgoing. You are multilingual.
I mean, if there's one
You've got a
person who
super
fits this, it's
personality.
you, my man.
Yeah, but it's now me. I'm at 41. How am I going to be at 65? I don't know.
There's a big gap there, dude. I've just hit 50 and we're all right. We're all right.
what's your life like?
I should be retired.
41.
But I mean, this is what I am now. But let's see. I mean, let's see how.
And is
this
it
evolves,
for
right?
anybody? What kind of mindset
It's
does
for
it take
Does
to
it
get
fit
into
all
what you're
brands,
doing?
or I mean,
It fits your strategy. You have to think of your strategy, where it goes, and like you. I hate BC because it's all like no, results. While when there's no BC, it's more like let's build on a long-term thing normally, right?
Okay.
So I didn't say this. I love everybody.
There you go. He's a love in person, you know.
except
Love
for
in
the whole
person.
finger job. I'll move on earlier.
So, any advice to people out there? Advice of why they should follow your...
Not follow me.
Not follow you, but follow...
Follow
yourself.
adopt what you're doing.
Let me look at the camera and say like, hey, did you get started already in this? Are you already doing it? What do you want to do? Like my only advice is like think twice, get a good strategy, do your thing. Anyone can do it. It takes time. It takes working on social media. It takes a lot of stuff. But start doing it now if you want to do it. Now.
And for all of those out there, if you'd like...
and do it now.
If you'd like to ask Javi questions, we'll post his Instagram and his social sites in here.
Yeah.
Again, we'd like to thank Xtelligence that powers Info Matters podcast. Yeah, if you got darts, you're sorted. Ring the bell, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. If you're looking at assistance with your career, you want to ask us questions, you want to come on the show. We had a number of
gonna come on the
requests
show,
last
I'm gonna
week.
come on the show.
There luckily, he's moving to Portugal next week, so we're sorted.
Absolutely. I think if you're not exhausted looking at Javi, I'm certainly exhausted listening to the guy. Love you, man. So I think
you,
for the
guys.
three of us
Thanks
for
for
this week, we'll wrap up the comedy and we wish you well. We'll see you
Good night
next
for him and me. Everything else is in the box below to get in touch
Absolutely.
with us.
We'll
Love,
see you next
peace,
time.
take care.
Take care, guys.
Wibble.